I'm here with Tony Burgess, who is the Head of Trainer Training for Havening Techniques. He's also the Director of High Achievers Academy, and we're here to talk about a workshop that Tony runs at the Virtual World Coaching Academy. Hello Tony, and thank you for being here.
Oh, it's great to be here. It's quite a new experience for me, this being in virtual world, but fascinating and definitely the future.
Well, thanks very much for your comments there, Tony. I'm really looking forward to your workshop. The title of your workshop is Iffirmational Havening, Sowing the Seeds of Possibility for Positive Change. Could you tell us, who is this workshop aimed at and what do they need to know?
The workshop is aimed at those who've done the 2-day Havening training. Don't need to be practitioners, but if they've done the training, this will really be a good way of expanding on what you've already covered about Iffirmational Havening. And it's a really great way of being able to put stepping stones in place, if you like, between having cleared some stuff, some unhelpful trauma or stress or unhelpful patterns, and getting more affirmational about the future, about positive future, about positive change. Because sometimes it can feel a little inauthentic for someone to go straight into affirmations. And affirmations can backfire if they feel really inauthentic. And people end up almost saying, oh gosh, I can't even do affirmations now. So it's really important we make them things that people can relate to and their system's not going to reject. And Iffirmation is a brilliant way of doing that. So it combines the wonderful generation of delta waves. We have the power in our hands, of course, to do that for ourselves or for others, and the human skill of asking what if questions. Now, our clients already know the power of what if questions because they've probably been using it as a torture device, at least some context in their life. What if it all goes horribly wrong? What if I'm not good enough? What if people think this about me? What if people think that about me? What if it fails? You know, these are powerful patterns of questioning, and people can really keep themselves stuck or torture themselves with those. So let's harness something that has power, but put some better endings on it. So we're going to be asking more positive what if questions, and it's just a little bit like throwing some juicy bait into the neuronal pond, if you like, giving our neurons something new to consider, new to connect with, and easing in the direction of affirmations. They don't even need to believe it yet. The delta waves and just sowing those seeds of possibility is a nice low resistance way to start to orient into positive future and positive results.
Excellent, Tony. Thank you for those analogies. I think people will understand how that works in terms of the power of Iffirmations. And so what will you be planning to teach in your session?
A little bit about where Iffirmational Havening developed from in the first place, because I was using aspects of this before I even knew about Havening, but combined with Havening, it really just takes it to a whole new level. Why it has a place in the Haveners Toolkit, what it can be used for, various things that we can use it for very, very elegantly in order to help our clients and help ourselves. I'll go through the basic principles of Iffirmational Havening and the importance also of considering voice tonality, because the way we present it to ourselves, it's like we've got an inner team in there that is influenced by tonality, just like when we alter our tonality on the outside with outer audiences. So if we're going to have maximum impact, we might want to play around with that tonality as we're asking what if questions or encouraging our clients to ask what if questions. There'll be an opportunity for people to have a go at creating their own what if questions with a particular outcome in mind. And yeah, it will be a real mix of things, because we're going to look at different uses and the advantages of clients also being able to take it away as a tool that will help personal growth, post-traumatic growth, the sort of more resilience building side of things. It's a great homework or home play tool to give to clients to take away with them between sessions, and a tool for life.
That sounds absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure people will want to come and engage in this virtual session. So how will you create experiences that lead to your session's planned outcomes?
Well, we're going to have an opportunity to, we've got some beautiful pods I know you're going to show later, where people can get into pairs and they can do a little bit of work on generating their own what-if questions. And there'll be an opportunity for them to do a little bit of, what-ifing with Havening combined. So we'll keep it, it's a relatively short session, but we will keep it, something that is interactive. They'll be able to play around with the tonality that I mentioned as well, so that they can notice the impact of that when they're using the what-if questions.
Excellent. So, Tony, would you be willing to share some examples of some affirmations in the pods that you mentioned earlier? Shall we walk over to the pods and see what we can share with our viewers?
Yeah, let's go.
So here we are, Tony, in the Seed Talk pod, and we are using animations to simulate Havening Touch. Can you give us some examples of affirmations that you might use?
Yeah, sure. Let's, isn't this great? I want one of these pods in my real life as well as here in the virtual life. I love it. And let's put a context around the what-ifing and the Iffirmational Havening. Very often people do have a little bit of nervousness about new technology and using new technology. And of course, for a lot of people, this virtual world is quite an unfamiliar thing. So there may be a little bit of uncertainty or a little bit of anxiety even about it, or some unhelpful messages like, I'm not the kind of person who can use this, and so on. And we want to be able to really counter that. We want to be able to put some really good, juicy possibilities into our neuronal pond for our neurons to nibble at, if you like, have a look at, consider. And so here's some possibilities. Let's just go for it, a bit free flow here. What if I'm better than I'm giving myself credit for? What if I'm more ready to embrace this technology than perhaps I've been telling myself? What if all my talents and resources are transferable into this area of technology? What if this is just like any other skill? It might feel a little bit nerve-wracking at first, but it gets easier as soon as I get started. What if with practice it just gets easier and easier? What if I just give it a go and see where it takes me? What if this could give me a competitive edge? What if this is embracing the future? What if it's going to be worth it? What if there's all kinds of advantages I haven't even thought of yet? What if I can improve on any area of my life or any skill, I can improve in this area too? What if I just decide and that makes it easier? You can see how we can just keep going. It would be very spontaneous, and also individuals will come up with the best ones for them. So some of the ones I said will be right for me, but not right for another. And so, having your client come up with their own, they'll always come up with the best ones for themselves. And you can offer the odd one here and there just as an example, but they will come up with the best ones themselves. And of course, you can use this for yourself, just doing the self-havening as we are here, in your own space, in your own time, on your own goals. Just what positive, helpful what ifs are going to just help pave the way towards more affirmational statements. Because as our neuronal network has a nibble, if you like, at these new concepts in the neuronal pond, they're going to know the ones that they like best and the ones that are attractive, the ones that want to connect to. And it's going to be easy for there to be a transition into becoming more affirmational instead of, what if I'm capable of doing this? A few of those kinds of statements into the neuronal pond, and we'll soon be saying, do you know what? I am capable of this. Of course I am. I'm talented, I'm resourceful, I'm capable, I have learned other things, I'm ready. So it's a nice stepping stone. It just helps tease our mind into that direction. And you'll notice that I used a particular kind of tonality, and you can play around with this because people have different tonalities for different things, and that's a personal journey. But, something like I call it tantalizingly tempting tonality. We want our inner team to sit up and listen. So if I said, what if I'm more talented than I think I am? That's probably not going to get my inner team sat up and listening. But if I say, what if I'm more capable and talented than I've been giving myself credit for? There's a tonality there that's like, yeah, absolutely. My inner team wants a bit of that. So playing around with that will also help the impact of the what ifs that you're introducing. And of course, the delta waves and the associated chemistry, it's just like a biological reassurance system. It's a biological thumbs up to connect to these new ideas and allow them into the filing cabinet. Really mixing my metaphors now.
Wonderful, Tony. I can feel the information seeping in as we speak. Those seeds beginning to grow in this talk seed pod. So we see you've got your book there. Can you tell us about what this little object is?
The book is actually where the original belief process that what ifing was part of. We wrote this book before we'd come across havening, so there's no mention of havening in there, but you'll be able to see the 6-step belief change process from where Iffirmational Havening evolved. And if you click on the book, you'd be able to access a link to a free PDF version of the book. So that's a gift from me to you. Thank you, Gina, for providing the opportunity for them to get their hands on that resource. And also there's a link to a section of the YouTube channel, which gives you, I think, 7 video clips in a series that's all about the original 6 steps that are covered in this book. So you've got like the history, if you like, of where Iffirmational Havening evolved from, and you've got the full belief change process there as well as a bonus.
Excellent, Tony. That's really generous. So to access these resources, you'll have to come into the virtual world and click on the book, and you will get a note card. So thank you very much, Tony. This has been wonderful sitting in this pod. I do hope you get your own pod in the real world. I think they're slightly more expensive than in this virtual world, namely because I built this pod.
Well, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Thank you for coming, Tony. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you.